Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you had a good lunch or a good break. Hope you got your sheets printed out so that you can more easily tell what's going on. We are going to just start right back with our card slots that we started before we had the break. And so I'll just recap a second what we did real quick. We had our 8x6, 8x7, and 8x8 pieces that we had already top stitched. We then took our 1 7/8 by 8 tracing template. We laid it on the edge. We made our line from every sewn edge we did that to. And now is the time that we're going to attach the 8x8 first. So your biggest piece is going to go onto the 8x8.5. So we're going to take the 8x8.5 sheet here with the right side up. So that slick, you know, plasticky side is down, okay? And the canvasy side is up. And we are going to lay our 8x8 on top of that. And we're going to look at it and say, okay, this is about right. We have about the same amount of fabric here as we do here. And we're going to use our wide mouth clips to just hold that in place. And what this is doing is we're starting to develop our pocket, our slots. So there are your marks that you already previously made. So what we're going to do is just stitch down those marks. I'm going to go ahead and change my stitch length because I'm going to decrease that stitch length. I'm going to go to 2.4 because we're just going to attach each piece to the next. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use a leader.
Now, Diane asked if we interfaced one of the 8x8.5s, is this the one we're using? So if she didn't do the water... Okay.
Oh, yes. So if you are using all cotton and you have interfaced each of your pieces with 809, you will, the 8x8.5 that you interfaced is the one that you're sewing these card slots to. Did that answer the question?
I think so. Thank you. We'll find out.
Okay. So I like to put my hand underneath this side here and, oh, you know what? I have a little bit of selvage on this 8x8.5 piece. So I'm going to switch pieces because the other piece won't even show. So let me switch. I just noticed that. All right, so let's back up and realign this, and you'll know that it's the 8-inch side because if it's not going to fit correctly, you know. So let's just put this back on here. All right, now we're gonna.
So what is that typical measurement you think it is from the top?
It's a little over a ½ inch.
A little over a ½ inch.
Yeah.
I was wondering, you know, if people struggle with catching that determination, you could probably fold them in half and then line up in that fold, you know, kind of like the valley. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like if you folded, get your center, and then folded the next piece and got your center, and then set it down, those two centers onto that fold, you might have been able to, you know, just a
whatever helps you to center that on there. I literally just eyeball, and you know, it's about a thumb's length away on each side. And so I'm going to turn this and just stitch down those lines that we created. I'm going to hold my hand on this and kind of lift it up as I'm sewing. So I'm going to push with my right hand and just guide with my left hand. And I've got a leader in here that let me see, that I'm using. And I'm just going to start stitching right onto that, across that line. Now these lines will not get seen because there's things that are going to keep piling on top of there, and you won't see them. So also, instead of cutting my thread and getting out of there, I'm just going to go to the edge here, and I'm going to ride down my edge until I get to the other line instead of cutting off. So it's just a fast way to get to your other line, and you know, it's adhering this piece to this piece a little stronger. So that's just a little thing that I do to get to the next line so I'm not cutting thread all the time. All right, so we are going to cut this off, and we're going to take our 8x7 piece. It's our next biggest piece, and we're going to align that. So I'm going to move these clips. I'm going to look at this, and now you're looking at stitching, so it's kind of easier to line your pieces up because I've got that stitching that's a different color, so you can kind of tell better that they are the same distance apart than it was on the first one that's all black.
About a 1/2 inch difference on each side.
Yeah. All right. And so I'm going to use my leader again and just go right onto my piece. Sometimes I push, but I really like to pull with this left hand and guide. I'm going to come straight down the side again so I can get to my next line. Still got my leader attached. I'll just snip that off so it's not distracting you or me. All right, cut that off, and now we're going to put our 8x6 piece on top of that. Okay. Once you do these, it's kind of just second nature to slap them on there, and they just work out for you. Any questions, Linda?
I am going back and looking for the links from the previous, so I have not been looking. I was going to ask Lisa to see if there were any questions.
Okay.
I think just that, you know, about the 3/4 is what it looks like a lot of people are getting for the measurements.
Yeah, 1/2 inch, in between a 1/2 inch and 3/4 is pretty much. What you do it to what looks eye pleasing to you. I mean, you'll see that it'll just work out for you. So these stitch lines that we did, what those were for is to stop the card from being able to travel all the way through your thing, your wallet. So now that we have those all secure, I will hold them up so you can see. And we've got those, the 3 pieces. So we put the 8x8, 8x7, and 8x6 all onto that 8x8.5 piece.
So go over what you did, because Laura has said, so why not put all of them in one stack and sew through the whole pile?
Because you have to have the lines to stop the cards on each.
Yeah. See how she's pulling back right now? So that's creating the slots. So you got to have them separate.
These lines, the purpose of these lines is to stop the card from going through. So if you did them all in the same spot, it wouldn't work. Your cards would get lost down in there.
Hopefully that makes sense.
Okay, so we will take this and put it right sides together with the other 8.5 inch piece. And we're gonna just put our wide mouth clip and we're going to sew in the same direction as your stitch lines. We're going to sew right here 1/4 inch and right here 1/4 inch, and then we're going to flip it. So put that in your machine and sew 1/4 inch. Sew those together. Oops, I'm going too fast, sorry. So we got the one side, and now we'll take it out and stitch up the other side. I'm not hearing any questions, so I suppose everybody's just enjoying the process and just watching.
Norma just said that she's going to miss tomorrow because she's got to go to Arizona for her husband's dad's memorial.
Oh,
so we're sorry to hear that.
Yes.
At least he's at peace now, hopefully. Let's see. And Laura said, oh, there are different measurements. Please show the back of the card slots again.
Right here is what I was already doing.
Perfect.
So this is what we've done. We've sewn these side seams here, and now you're going to flip this out, which it's not that hard to flip out because there's plenty of space on those sides. I'm going to put our hand through here, get it flipped out. Now we're going to push this seam over. I'm going to clip it to help it stay like that. Here's where I use my mommy stick, or you can use whatever you need to help you straighten out that seam to get it clipped so it's on right. Let's see. First I usually pinch it with my fingers.
And Mary asked, why did you sew with the slot side up?
Why did I sew with the slot side up?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you did. I'm not really sure, Mary.
I'm not sure what the question is.
Yeah.
We're sewing with the right sides showing.
I think when you see how this gets placed in the wallet, it'll click a little bit more. What I love about this is that if you're making other wallets, other bags, other things, the concept that she's done here is very versatile.
Is usable for,
a lot of things.
A lot of different things. So right now we're just straightening this out, and we're going to be top stitching that very last edge, and
Janet asked,
I'm going to go back up to a 4-point stitch length because it's top stitching this that's going to show. Yes, Linda?
I was going to say, Janet said, what is the seam allowance on the edges? Well, you haven't really done the edges yet. You're doing that now. Right?
Right. We're just top stitching this. So 1/8 of an inch from the edge is what the top stitching was. And I'm using a 4.0 stitch length because I like the way it looks. You can choose whatever you want stitch length for your top stitching, whatever you choose, whatever you like to do. But I'm going to go down through here and just top stitch this. And literally on this, I'm going to travel down the side here to get to my other end. And what this does is it tacks down all of the sides, makes it one. We're going to make this one piece. So let's see. All right, let's just finish going down through here, and now we're going to top stitch this edge. And the very edges of these where I'm using to travel, all that's going to get sewn into your wallet. So you don't have to worry about if those stitches are going to show. if you're going down the sides here, because they're not. They're going to get sewn in. And then by traveling down the sides like this, it's just giving this a chance to be one piece. All right, so now we have this one piece all in one. Nothing on the back here yet. So now if we just stopped here, we wouldn't have a division for our pockets, right? So if you want to have a card and check your slots, you can, but I promise if you did them like this, they're gonna fit just fine. Any questions so far?
Yeah, when you finish this, then I'm going to come back with 2 questions for you that I see.
Okay.
You want me to ask you now?
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
so Norma clarified, did you, oh no, that's not Norma, Mary clarified, you had the 8 by 8.5 non-slot side down on the sewing machine and the slots on the top when you did the end seams.
The NC, I'm sorry, am I just not catching that this top stitching here?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I think if we go back and watch the replays, maybe on this section, it may click, because I've got, like Janet said, I meant when she sewed the 2 8.5 by 8 pieces together.
What I know
is
what she missed was she didn't realize that you took that one piece and you laid it right sides together on top of the slots, on top of the actual slots. I think that she missed that, what you had done.
Oh.
And I think she
Yes.
couldn't, and that you were sewing the 2 top and bottom pieces parallel with the seams that you would sew so that you could flip it out so you could have not a raw edge but a finished edge now on the tops.
Yes.
I think she didn't understand that's what you had done when you
Okay.
took the other piece and you laid it over top of the slots.
Okay, yes. So those slots that we had sewn the lines on, we laid that face down or right sides together with the other 8.5 piece, and then we stitched across, and then we flipped it.
Yeah.
We did a little flip-a-trois, and we flipped it out, and now we are at the point where we are going to measure halfway on these card slots to make our division for our cards. So I've got my 3.5 by 8 ruler right here, or you know, tracing template that has the hash mark right here, and I'm just gonna make a little hash mark here. I'm gonna turn it around and make a little hash mark here. In other words, I'm making a hash mark in the center of this whole piece, and then I'm gonna take my tracing template right there and just use that as a ruler and mark my line. Let's see if you can see that line. Yes, you can. So now I have actually just done it with my chalk. I'm gonna put my triangle back because I'm not gonna need that. And now I'm just going to take a stitch all the way down through here, and I like to do it twice for whatever reason. So I do it twice. So we're going to go down here. I like the look of the heavier stitching on this, and it just reinforces that area. So I'm still on a 4.0 stitch length because it's kind of a pretty stitch length to look at. And I'm gonna just go either right on top or right beside that stitch. So I'm gonna go slow and just, I like to see kind of a thicker line of stitching right here. I'm gonna back it up just a couple stitches and cut it off. So I'm gonna take my magnetic brush. If you guys don't have one of these are awesome to, especially to clean while you're sewing, get some lint out of there. But also I'm gonna get any chalk line that is showing, and it's just that center line. And so it's nice and clean.
And doesn't this look sharp with the white thread and that longer stitch? I think that's really a clean, sharp look.
It's actually, this one is not white thread, it's the kind of a
Gray?
green It's a kind of a teal looking
Well, it looks good from
color.
here.
Yeah. So here are your card slots. They're totally done, and they can be, this is the back side, they can totally be set aside for when we construct the whole wallet. Okay? So yay, you just finished, if you're sewing along.
And
your
you could
first
even make
complete
an
piece.
extra one of those and put a little piece of Velcro or a tab on that and have just that to stick in a backpack or a, you know,
Sure.
whatever. I love, if anybody has lots of credit cards or lots of cards, this is a nice thing to be able to create.
Yeah.
An easy thing.
Yep, so that is done. We're going to set that aside, and we're going to go ahead and go back to the cutting board, and we are going to cut our fabrics and cut our zipper and start preparing this stuff. So, okay, let's do your zipper. So, well, we'll do our zipper after we've determined what our zipper pocket's going to be. So you've got your 5 fabrics. We're going to go ahead and cut our fabric ovals and zipper pockets and what have you. So here are the 2 wallets I've already made with this, with these 5 fabrics. And so I don't want to make something the same as I've already made. So I'm going to look here and say, okay, I want a difference, because I ended up with 2 interiors the same. And so now I want to for sure not use that on the interior. So I am going to pull that purple bubbles, and I'm going to use that as my exterior, which is this blue part right here. I'm going to use that as my exterior oval. Okay. So, okay, I've chosen that one. That's going to be my exterior oval.
And G, wouldn't you
Yes.
agree? This is for me, the hardest part, picking your fabrics.
Picking your fabrics, yeah. And since I've already got 2 wallets made from these same 5 fabrics, I'm going to try to not repeat what I've done before. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my oval. Now, if you wanted, you could double this and cut 2 ovals at the same time, which is what you're going to end up doing when you start to make these, because you'll want to have pieces available to you later. But I'm going to lay this template here, and y'all know I don't like to waste that much, so I'm going to just rough cut. I was going to say, who closed my cutters while I was at lunch? Or did I close them? I don't think I did. I never closed them. Anyway, so we're going to just rough cut this and get this more manageable. We're going to set this piece aside, and we're going to just cut this off. Okay, I'm going to cut my straight edges first, because that's the way I like to do it. Okay, and then I will take my, oh, nobody touched this. Oh, yeah, they did. Somebody came in here and closed my cutters.
It wasn't me. I know better. Yep. And Bonnie asked if we have a directional fabric, which end of the oval should be up.
Okay, the directional fabrics, you cannot do for the exterior oval, because when it gets folded, some of your direction is going to be upside down. So there's a technique where you're going to get your halfway point of your oval and extend your seam allowance on either side, so that when you sew the 2 back together, you can have one going one way and one the other. That is a lot of drama, and it's not something that I am interested in, but if you are, hey, do it and show it to us.
There are other places where a directional fabric is much easier to work with.
Right. The oval, and of course the interior oval, you won't even see all that. But yeah, if you wanted to take the time to cut your ovals in half and then sew them back together with one direction going one way and one the other, then more power to you, honey. And I want to see it.
And that may be, if you're making these and selling these,
That's
and you
something
can
that you would
say,
consider,
this is
yeah.
how I customize, this takes extra work,
Yes.
and that's why I charge a little bit more.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. So there is our exterior oval right there. I'm gonna put it in my pile with my interfacing so I can go and iron them in a little while, but that is my exterior oval. Okay, so my interior oval, what do I want for this to look like? Is this gonna be what I want on here? Maybe, but no, because I already have one that has this. So I'm gonna choose something different. Okay, so I'm going to, I know this is going to seem so busy for you, but it's going to work out, I promise.
And remember, I created a chart that shows you from pictures of the NCW which part does what, which gives you that look. So look at those pictures that I posted for you.
Right, so I think this looks good on here. So I'm going to use this as my exterior flat piece, okay? So I'm going to take my 9 by 5.5 and I'm going to cut it out of my 9 by 5.5 first, and then after it's interfaced, then I will cut the flap actual shape out of that. Okay, so let's start cutting on this. Okay. All right, we're going to cut that, turn, cut that, turn. I'm not trying to be wasteful because this thing can get another oval out of this fat quarter. So, I mean, I'm not going to use it as my oval right now, but. All right, so this is going to be our exterior flap piece. I'm going to put that away. So basically, the wallet's going to look like this. How fun. Let's see. That kind of gives you an idea. And that's how you can audition your fabrics to see if that's going to be something you're going to, if you like the look or not. I'm going to put these two aside with my interfacings. That's going to go over to the iron. So that's the ironing pile. Now I'm going to decide on my zipper pockets. So I think I'm going to, and let me show you what that looks like in this wallet. So here, this is the zipper pocket right here. It's this all the way to here. It creates your divider and where your zipper is. So that's going to be my zipper pocket. So here is what I'm going to use for that. And you know, you can decide how do you want the stripes. Do you want it this way or this way? Now if you have stripes, I would suggest doing it lengthwise across them, not going with the same direction of your stripes. This way, if it gets a little off, you won't be able to tell. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So instead of the stripes going this way, I made sure they went this way. So if they weren't exactly lined up with this, you can't tell. So that's where you're going to get a little bit picky with how you are laying out your fabrics. So, this one is going to be my zipper pocket. So we're going to do 8 by 7.5. We need 2 of the pieces. So I'm just going to fold this over. And I'm going to cut 8 by 7.5. I'm going to get a straight edge here. And then I'll just use my multi-template. I'm going to get a nice straight edge. And now I'm going to line my multi-template up on the 7.5 right here. Line that up on both ends with the 7.5 line. And now I just can cut around this and it'll be an 8 by 7.5.
Can y'all see how versatile this multi-template is for so many other projects besides this?
Right.
Yeah.
So I just cut it off so I can get this out of my way. I like to get more manageable pieces. It makes it easier on yourself.
And this template was not a part of her pattern, the NCW. This was your creation.
Yes.
This is a big deal.
Yeah. I really like it because there again, I didn't want everyone to have to buy such separate templates for everything. So this worked out great. So here are my 2 zipper pocket pieces. And they'll be oriented like that. So I'm going to put these in my going to the iron pile. And that's that. That's the exterior zipper pocket pieces. Your interior pocket pieces are 4 by 8. So that is like this, where you open the zipper and look inside here. And that is what is on the interior of your zipper pocket. So now we need 2 4 by 8 pieces for this part. And what are we gonna do? I think, you know what? I'm gonna do it with this blue. I'll do it with this blue. How about that? So I'm gonna get my 2 4 by 8 pieces with this blue. I'm just gonna fold it. I'm gonna make sure I have a nice, clean, straight edge again. I like this ruler for this. I'm just gonna cut this. As you see, I'm not even using the lines half the time, because if I just line this up, it's gonna be straight, right? So I've got a straight edge here. I'm gonna use my multi-template again. I'm going to use this the line with the 4 on there, because I want a 4 by 8. So I'm going to line this line up with my fabric on both sides, 4, 4. And now I'm going to just turn this around, get it more manageable piece. Cut that off first, and then go around the template. And, oh, yeah. I thought I messed up for a minute. I've been known to do stuff like that, but it's
Do you make these in your sleep?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I dream about what fabrics I'm gonna do next.
I was dreaming about this last night, the directions.
Yes. So these are 2 4 by 8 pieces. Those are our interior zipper pocket pieces, and they do not get interfaced. So they can literally go in your sewing at the machine pile. Okay, get them out of your way. You don't have to look at them anymore, because they don't need any other attention. And now we're going to do the interior oval. So remember, your interior oval is something that you're not going to see that much. So you can see it's the striped fabric in this wallet. And it is what you see behind the card slots. Put your cash back here or whatever. So literally you kind of only see the edge of it and the sides here. So I don't particularly like this green that much, so I'm going to do my interior oval with the green. And like I said, I would be cutting multiple pieces, so I would fold that and cut 2 ovals. But right now we're just doing this. But when you get to making these, you know, use your time wisely and your cutting wisely. I'm going to line this up with this straight edge right here, so I don't even have to cut that. And I'll start with cutting this edge here. I'll cut it off and get this piece more manageable again. Literally, I can real fast cut these off, so they're not, I get aggravated when I have a lot of fabric outside of my template. So now I'm going to switch to my 28mm blade, and I'm going to go around this oval good. And like I said, nothing says you have to do it in one fell swoop. You can just do it in little bites if you want, like I did right there. Just as long as you're going around that template. It doesn't matter how you get there, just get there. Get these out of the way, this scrappy doos. And got a little thing attached here. All right. So now we have our interior oval. and that's going to go into the ironing pile. Now remember our zipper pockets, we want to pick something for our zipper tabs that kind of go with this. And I really think I'm going to use this beautiful blue and make a 2x8 strip, and that will be the zipper tabs, and I'm going to show you in the wallet, the zipper tabs and the D-ring tabs. So I will show you what I'm talking about here. So these little sides of your zippers, those are called zipper tabs. Let's see, right here. And your D-ring tabs. So that's that. I've got one there and one here. So I'm going to use the blue fabric for my zipper tab. So you're going to need a 2x8, one piece of 2x8. All right. So I'm just going to lay this on here. That's a 2-inch ruler, so, and then I'm just going to make it 8 inches, so. And you could, well, you can use a straight edge to do that, or you can freehand it like I just did. So a 2x8 piece, and we're going to put this in the ironing pile so it can be turned into what's going to be our zipper tabs and our D-ring piece. So I think that concludes all of our fabric cutting. And we're going to take all this over to our ironing station and get our interfacings put on here. So come with me to the iron and we'll get these on. If you want, you can bring your templates if you put labels on them to know what you're going to put on what, which is why we made these labels for you to put on. Let's see, let me get over here. And this will tell us what we need and where. And remember, this 9 by 5.5, that turns into this flap piece. So I'll just bring this flat piece, or you can do the golden sheet that Linda printed up, or that created, and you can go off of this. For me, it's just easier to look at my templates, which is why I did it that way to begin with. So we're going to go over to the ironing station and get these on. Get our interfacings on. Is there any questions while
I'm posting a link for the labels right now. Let's see if there are any questions. We've been, okay, what about the inner divider, Bonnie asks.
That is a part of your zipper pocket that is also the divider. So, and that'll be more understandable once we sew it, and you'll see how that turns into that. So right now, I'm just going to just start pulling pieces. So I guess I'll start with my exterior oval, which was that purple. And exterior oval takes a 101 and a 809. And so the 101 is listed first, so that's what I'm going to put down to the wrong side of my exterior oval. I'm going to put the bumps of the 101 right down, touching the wrong side of my exterior oval. And then I'm going to put my 809 right on top of that. Now obviously this is not the right side because it's shiny, so I'm going to put the shiny side down towards the 101. And I like to use a Teflon sheet here, and Linda's going to grab that Teflon sheet for me, or Lisa is. You guys, it's so hard. I end up calling Linda Lisa and Lisa Linda, and I think I don't know what you got it. I have them. I had 2 of them over here.
What I did with them. Hold on.
Lisa cleaned up so good we can't find anything.
Oh, I got that thing right there. Here's brand
Oh,
new.
right there they are. Oh, here's a brand new sheet. Okay. Here's a brand new Teflon sheet. So I'm just going to do this because the 809 it's kind of almost sticky feeling on your, underneath your iron. So I like to put a Teflon sheet in between, and because I just don't like that feeling of it kind of with the 809. So do y'all like my sound effects there? I'm sure you get it. And I normally put a Teflon sheet down 2 on the bottom. So I'm ironing between 2 Teflon sheets. Anytime I'm doing interfacing, I usually do that so I don't ruin any kind of surfaces. I will say that's why I'm talking a lot right now, because the 809 takes a little bit longer to adhere than your 101s, which quite honestly is another reason why I chose to double up on my 101s instead of using 809.
So I kind of missed it. You layered everything, right? On
Yes,
this very
we're
first
only
one, on the
ironing
outer.
once.
Okay.
We're just ironing once, and you'll want to keep the iron nice on your edges to make sure the edges adhere good. And so the 809 is a little bit, you know, it's a little bit fiddly, to be honest. But it does provide good structure. So this Teflon sheet is way different from mine. And we're going to see. Now, I got I got nervous that I was going to burn the thing again, but she brought me the Aliso, so now I don't have to worry. Oh, okay. Sorry about that, y'all. I had a little freak out for nothing.
You did. You had a huge panic moment.
You guys, well, to be honest, I smelled the smell that I smelled yesterday.
Plus you heated it up.
and I've got PTSD from it. Y'all, I didn't ruin it. It can be scrubbed out, but so I adhered this. I'm just going to go a little bit
Just so that you know, wool smells when you burn it.
Smells like burnt mushrooms or,
Something.
you know, a wet dog or wet sheep. Okay. As you can see here, I did not do a very good job of lining up right here, but I will trim this off so I don't even have to look at that. And it's still going to be fine, you know. A lot of people do make their interfacings a little smaller so they don't have to worry about it being in their edges. I don't find that to be necessary, so I just cut them all the same. And if I get sloppy, obviously like I did right here, it's no big deal. I'm just going to trim that right to my fabric and it'll be fine.
Linda wants to know what temperature your iron is set at.
It's set on the 3 dots of the cotton. I have no idea what the temperature is, but
That's the highest setting.
It's the highest setting you can have of the cotton setting. It's the 3 dots. On most irons, I found out, is the 3 dots cotton setting. So we're done interfacing that piece, so I'm going to put it in my pile. This still needs a little bit of attention because we need to put our hardware on that. So I'm going to put it in the pile to go back to the, we'll do it at the cutting station. That way you guys can see really good. Our interior oval, we'll go ahead and do that. Lisa, can you please just give me those other Teflon sheets?
Yeah, that one driving you nuts.
Yeah, it's got too many folds in it and stuff. Yes. I brought my sheets from home. I'm a little partial to my Teflon
Yes,
sheets.
she is. Holy cow.
Okay, so I end up using one under and one over. So this is my interior oval, so it gets one. That's the only thing that your interior oval gets is one 101. One piece of 101. And remember, when you fill this, to put your dots, the bumpy side, down to the wrong side of your
Wrong side.
fabric.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me try to align this a little better this time. Okay, so, and I normally start like this in the middle, and then I push out and come back to the middle and push out. And then once I have that initial, once it's adhered a little bit initially, then I start going all over it. And I don't need this on the top of here. I just kind of like how it glides nicely. I do need it on the bottom in case I'm misaligned at all. I don't get any tackiness on the ironing surface.
Now, do you flip it over and catch the other side too, just to get that glue to set a little better?
A lot of times I will turn it over and hit the pretty side of the fabric with it.
Get the edge.
Normally I do on the exterior piece, I do check and make sure it's adhered.
Yeah, there's a little spot
Right
there.
here. See, that's the beast of the 809. See that? It's not adhered good. So what I'm going to do is, now that I have my Teflon sheets, I will go back and hit that a little bit more. You're going to see that the 101 adheres a lot easier and faster. In fact, I probably overdid that. So you really hardly ever have to worry about the 101. It just sticks. It's when you involve the 809 that you have to take a little bit more time. So we are going to just press that exterior oval just a little bit more. Any questions?
I have people that are not able to open up the documents, so I am in the process of emailing them.
Oh,
So, yeah.
how nice of you, Linda. You are so technical. We love your technical skills.
No, here's the thing. I don't know Facebook, so I don't know how to copy paste. You can share on Facebook, but it won't let me copy a link. So that I had links and they're not able to open them. They're opening for me, okay. Okay, now Janet, back to on task here. Janet said steam does not pass through the Teflon sheet. Yeah, it's not supposed to. So absolutely, yep.
And Lisa doesn't allow water in her iron, so this has no water in here, so it's not necessary. If you felt it necessary, you could use a spray bottle, and but it's
Mary said no Teflon sheet here. That's why she's asking about steam.
Now, I have spritzed it, sometimes with a little bit of water just to give it, because there are some different ones that say a little bit of steam or a little bit of moisture helps secure that glue a little bit better. And I don't know which ones is which, so a lot of times I'll just give it a little spritz just to help. Seems like it does seem to set it just a little bit better.
These Teflon sheets get really, really hot.
Yeah.
So
Watch out.
be careful of that. I just a little bit burned myself. So we're going to check this.
And if you don't have the
And it's
Teflon
fine.
sheets, you can use parchment paper, because
Yes.
I've used parchment paper for years before I even discovered Teflon sheets.
Yes, good point. So this is nice and adhered, so we're good with that. Those are gonna get taken back to the cutting table here in a little bit. So now we'll do our zipper pockets. We're gonna turn them also with the right sides down, and we're gonna adhere 2 pieces each of 101 on each of these pieces. So 2 101s. Oops. 2 101s, bumpy sides down to the wrong side of the fabric. Never want your bumps to be facing up or you're going to have a mess. See, I'm looking at this and it's not fitting right, so I know I need to turn it over, because these are 8 by 7.5. And so if you get them turned wrong, they're not going to fit like a puzzle piece. And these, after I center these on here, if I get these on here right, I can take my Teflon sheet and iron them both at the same time. I find the less I handle these pieces, the better off I am. So, it's awful quiet. How many people we got?
I'll tell you in just a second. For anybody that's wanting me to email, you're going to be getting it from mouserme@yahoo.com. So if you have, you know, a spam checker or whatever, then make sure you're checking your spam folder. Okay, so back to, we have 44 people that are on right now. Peggy said, great idea on parchment paper. Janet says, I have a roll of the parchment paper in her sewing room. Lynn said, enjoying this. I wasn't planning to make this, but you are inspiring me.
Yay,
Clear
I was just going to say,
explanations.
yay.
Yeah.
Please give me some hearts if you're enjoying the class so far, if you've learned anything so far. If you appreciate Valerie for giving a free class.
Yep.
I think
We're getting lots
I think
of
we
hearts
need lots
here.
of hearts
Yep.
in order for Valerie to keep.
And I have an
doing it.
answer,
That's
Diane.
my Aunt Peggy
Yeah,
on there.
I know. That's what
Oh.
I said.
My Aunt Peggy.
Yes.
Hi, Aunt Peggy.
Yeah. And I haven't answered Diane yet because I've been busy copy and pasting, sending the links, emailing. Diane said, did I miss cutting the flap? So you want to go over what's going to happen with the flap?
Hang tight.
Yeah, hang tight.
I
Not
did
yet.
say that first, it's easier to adhere your interfacings to a rectangle than a shape like that flap. So the 9 by 5.5, that is what that is for. Then after you adhere that, then you are going to either use your fussy cut if you're going to use a fussy cut, or you're just going to put your flat piece on there and cut. So hang tight, and that's going to be revealed. So we've got our two 8 by 7.5 zipper pieces that have the 2 layers of 101 on each of these pieces, and we can now put those aside.
Okay, and we're going to be taking a 10-minute break at 2:30, so just in 3 minutes.
Oh, in
We'll
3
do
minutes.
Yep,
Okay,
so a 10-minute
3 minutes,
break.
you guys. This is my exterior. Oh, yeah, this is my exterior. Did we not cut an interior flap? I think we didn't cut an interior flap.
I honestly don't remember.
Okay, I think we didn't cut an interior flap. So we're going to interface our exterior flap right now, which is going to be a 101, an 809, and make sure that shiny side is down. Oh, this is kind of folded over, this little piece here. Let me straighten that out, because then it really wouldn't
We
adhere.
did not cut an
I did not
interior.
do an interior piece, so that's what we're going to have to do after this, or I'll do it during the break, and then I'll adhere it on film. Okay, so we've got our 101, our 809, and our 101 again. This is for the exterior flap, okay? And remember, this piece has 809 in it, so you're going to have to concentrate a little more heat onto it to make it adhere. It's just time consuming, which is why I only use it in 2 places of my wallet. I got strings everywhere. You know you're a sewer when
You have threads all
Everywhere.
over your shirts, all over your socks.
it cracks me
They're
up when
just
my
everywhere.
dog comes running in. I'm like, Chewy, look at me, and he's got a thread hanging off of him.
And for anybody that's emailed me during the break, I'm going to get everybody's emails, and some of you might get it twice. So, and I do have to comment that Nancy said, thank you so much. I've made a couple of these, but this makes it easier. Good visible.
Awesome. I know that even the people who have made, like Linda Olson has made 200 of these, I know how much easier she said it is using the templates. And if anyone has experience, she does.
We're not doing written directions for this, right? That's why we
It's
have
just-
this video.
It's
So
why
you
we
watch
have
it
this
over in
video, and really, Linda, out of the kindness of her heart, really wrote up a lot of stuff doing the golden sheet.
I am going to do some more, but it's not going to be a pattern like you would pay for, because we can't charge you $20 for this. But I also can't spend 5 days on it. So I am going to go back and watch all the videos and do kind of a step 1, step 2, step 3. But it's not going to be, you know, a pattern that you would pay $20 for.
Yes.
We can't, because this is somebody else's pattern that we've modified. We can't rewrite this.
Yeah, we're not
allowed to do that.
Yeah, we're not rewriting this. We're just showing you my way of doing it, and Linda so graciously started writing the steps, because honestly, you guys, you can just rewind the video. And I'm pretty sure that I've addressed a bunch of the questions, and I know often what's happening is you have a question, and while you're typing it, I'm literally answering the question before you can have time to type it all out. So
all right, it's 2:30
and we're done. Okay, well, this is done then, probably.
All right, so we're going to take a 10-minute break. We're not ending this broadcast. We're just going to put up a sign that lets you know that you're not going to hear anything, but we are going to come back in 10 minutes, 2:40, okay?
All right. Hey everybody, we're back, and I have my interior flap decided. I knew when I was over there I hadn't cut everything, so that's what was missing. So I'm gonna, this is my interior flap choice, so I'm gonna put it face down. I'm gonna put a 101 face down on it. Remember, the bumps are on the I know I keep saying that, but I'm just trying to save y'all's irons, that's all. And I'm going to put the next piece with the bumps down again. And I'm going to get that on here. I've really become dependent on these. I just love how it glides so good. And so next, get your 2x8 piece, because while we're over here at the ironing station, we're going to go ahead and get that ironed out. That is your zipper tabs and your D-ring tabs, and your flap tab that you're going to use to pull open your wallets. Okay. There we have it. That's our interior flap. Now, here's our 2x8 piece. We're going to fold it in half. I like to fold it towards me so I can see if it's lined up pretty good. We're folding it in half lengthwise, getting that center crease. We'll open this up. And then we're going to fold each side to the center line that we just made, the center crease. So I usually do a little bit like that, and then I go ahead and fold the other side into it. And quite honestly, I have a lot of binding that just stray pieces that I end up using as my tab pieces, because why not? One less thing you have to prepare, because you've already, that was the leftover of your binding that you used on something. Unless you want it to be a particular thing, but. So that's just an idea for you to use your binding pieces that you had left over on your projects, if you happen to do the binding pieces like this. How are we doing? We got hearts, or we got people, we got questions, we got anything?
Janet said the problem with the Teflon sheet is that she ends up getting sticky on both sides, and said, been there, done that. Use one of Martelli's scrubbers. Oh. If you have our matte smoother, I didn't see it on the website. I was going to post a link, but I didn't see it on the website. But if you have one of our scrubbers or the matte smoothers, you can use that, and they take off that gunk really, really well. And Amy said use a credit card too, so that works as well.
Credit card for Oh, to scrape off the Teflon
Yeah.
sheets.
If you've got junk on there. You know, if
There's that matte scrubber. You
yeah,
put
there.
It up.
Yeah. No, I was looking for the matte smoother.
Oh.
The matte smoother we have, it's that pink rectangle. Does anybody know what it's called? Do y'all know what I mean? I thought it was matte smoother. I don't know.
I don't know, but we are done with our binding strip piece right here. So we are going to put this over here where we don't have to mess with it again until we go to our sewing machine. So right now we're going to go back over to our cutting table and prepare any of these pieces that need any attention. So let's go take our stuff over there and get our flaps, our actual flaps cut out from our 9 by 5.5 pieces. Okay.
And we had 51, we're at 50 right now. We have 50 people that are here with the Fuzzbuster. Yes, Brenda, thank you.
I figured someone would let us know what the name was.
You would think that we would know the product names, but
it gets confusing sometimes.
yeah, there it is.
I'm just gonna set some of this stuff out of my hair here. We're done cutting ovals, so we can put the oval back. We're done with our multi-template. We just need our flap piece. Okay, so our little binding strip can be out of our hair. While we're up here, we're going to go ahead and cut. So this is my interior flap. So I'm going to sit and look at this. Now, if this was directional, say you had a person's head and their body, you would put the head at the top where you're looking at it the way you want to see it. And then you would put this flap piece here, and if you're reading interior flap, that is what you're cutting for, the interior flap. Like I said, unless it's a directional fabric, you really don't have to worry about that, but inevitably you're going to need that at some point. So I'm going to go ahead. Who closed my cutter?
Not me.
I am going to.
Are you
Well, that
doing?
might have been me since I did cut that piece.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
What a habit you're in. What a good girl you are.
Oh, Lord.
Sorry, I'm Team Sherry.
Yeah, but you were Team G on. Oh no, you're Team Sherry on the mat. Oh no.
It's
You said something about being opposite
I
of me.
close my rotary cutter always.
Okay.
It's a good habit.
It is a good habit,
and
but
I like
listen,
and
I'm
I
full
like
of bad habits. So
yeah, and I like the yellow side, so I guess I'm not really.
how many? I want a heart for every person out there that did not know that there was a purple side to these mats. Of course, if you've ever watched my videos, me and Sherry on our Woomate Creations, you'll notice the purple mat. But if you're new to us and don't know us, you'll always see the purple mat. And there's lots of purple lovers out there that maybe didn't know that there is a purple side to these mats.
Amy says she's Team Sherry and Team Lisa and Linda. We have a team.
Wow.
And
Traitors.
Lisa and I are going to try to start dressing alike too.
Oh my gosh. What was that all about?
I know we're going to do that.
Anyway, so our interior flap gets a piece of hardware. So we're going to do the hardware after we prep any of these other pieces. So I'm going to just get the flaps cut out, and this is going to be my exterior piece. So I was going to read this as exterior. So if it were directional, again, you would be wanting to make sure you read it as exterior.
Yep. So this is huge, you guys. If you have not seen the value of this, you will.
Yes. Oh yeah. I ended up with at least 2 of my wallets that I did with the exterior being the interior only because I messed up or whatever, like I wasn't paying attention. So there's our exterior flap
Isn't that pretty?
piece. It is totally done. We don't need to do anything else to that, so we're going to just put that over in that pile. Our interior piece does need hardware. So this is going to be your male piece that you're putting this hardware on, okay? So we're going to get the halfway point on this is your interior flap. We're going to fold it in half this way, and we're going to make a crease right here, and we're going to take our little precision scissors and give this a little snippy snip right here. Not that much, you guys. You're just going to be using this later. Don't do like Lisa and cut a clear
quarter-inch
cut a clear quarter of an inch.
That's
But
what I used to doing.
yeah, don't do that. Just do a little bit of a
An eighth of
snip.
an inch or less.
Yeah,
Not even.
just
No.
a little tiny
A snip.
snip.
If you're a sewer of clothing, then this is familiar.
Oh, is this a technique that they
it's a
do?
clothing thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're making a dart. tiny
I don't know
dart.
what got on my scissors while we were at break.
You know, you could just you could just
maybe the
nip off
tape?
the little
The tape?
tip to make it like
I
a
didn't
dart.
cut any.
No?
No. Okay, so we've made our little slits, okay? Now this is where this ruler comes in handy because it is marked every 1 inch. I didn't mark them with my silver, but it is marked, I promise you. So we are going to just pull this to where we're putting our ruler right there where that slit is. We're going to check the bottom and line that up. As you see, I'm not lining up with the lines on the mat. I'm just using my ruler right up against these slits here, and I'm lining the top part of that ruler up with one of the lines, right? So now I can go down 1 inch and make a dot on here. Okay, that's 1 inch down from your center. And this is what your hardware is going to get put onto, okay? And, well, I'll go ahead and do that right now, I suppose. You're going to use your magnetic snaps for this, which comes with a male part, a female part, and washers. All right, so remember earlier when we cut our 1 inch Decaville scrap pieces? That's where these are going to come into play as well. So your interior flap piece gets the male part of your hardware. We're going to get a close-up shot of this male and female part, and so you can see what the differences are. Awesome. So this one with the little bump here is our male part, and the recessed one is our female part. So our interior flap gets the male part. Okay, so how we're going to do that, we're going to take this washer. This is the washer. Sorry, I didn't show you that part. That's the washer. And, oops, magnetic. Okay, here's the washer. So we are going to take this washer and put it on that dot where the center of it is. And I like to mark these two rectangles just right in the center. I don't go on the sides or, you know, on the exterior sides or the interior sides. I just put it right in the center, so my marks are centered between those two. No need to pierce the middle of that. You just need to take your scissors and make a little slit, and then you can poke it. If you have these precision scissors, they are the best for this. Right, oh, I'm sorry, like that. You're going to poke right through there. Each side you're going to make a little slit and poke through there. I suggest before you even start to mess with this to pull in the prongs just a little bit. They tend to come pushed out a little bit, so I pull them in, and then from the right side of the fabric I'm going to push these prongs down into my little slits I just made. These are slippery little suckers too, so you'll figure out if you didn't make your slit big enough right here. Hold on a second. I can't even hardly hold on to it today. Gonna push it through there, push it through there. Holy moly. If you didn't make your slit good enough, go back and do it again. I guess I wasn't doing it good enough if I didn't almost slit my hand, my finger. Okay, it's not that fiddly, you guys. I don't know what's wrong with me. So I got that part on. Now you've got your prongs sticking up. We are going to mark our little piece of Decaville with those same markings that we just did. Just going to set that in the center. Give myself 2 little marks here. Slit this just like I did the piece of fabric. And now we're going to slip this over our prongs. And this is going to protect your fabric over time, so it doesn't rip your fabric. And then you're going to put the washer right on top of that. I like to use my thumbs and kind of start those prongs to where they're going out. And then I literally pick it up and I place some pressure right here. And then I pull until those prongs are about on there good, like that. Perfect. So for a little added, you know, I'm extra, so for a little bit of extra security, I have this strapping tape. You can use duct tape, you can use strapping tape, you can use packing tape, whatever you feel like. If you're a nurse, you can use the good nursing tape. You're going to, someone broke the rule of my tape, I think. When you use the tape, always bend the corner when you're done with it, because then you can find the opening.
It's called
better.
tape etiquette.
Tape etiquette. Okay. So I'm just going to make, cut a little bit of tape right here. Probably, this is a 2-inch tape. And so I just, I cut like 1.5 inches. And I'm going to place this tape over this whole assembly here, so it just secures it a little more. I'm going to tell you to stay away from the edge because you don't want to have to sew through that. So I place it here and then I turn it over and then I smooth it real good. Now when you have a solid fabric or one that's kind of solid, you might want to make sure that your square is cut exactly square, or you want to round it off, or whatever you want to do, because sometimes the imprint of it will show. And so that's a little tip and trick that I've learned. So if you're like haphazardly cutting a really wonky square, it sometimes will show up depending on what your fabric is. So we have got this totally prepared, and this can be put in our going to sew pile.
And by the way, guess who's online and says you're doing a great job?
Who?
Who do you think?
My twin.
Yeah.
She's awake? What time is it? Okay. She must be up from her nap. So let's go ahead and do the other hardware that has to be done, which is on your exterior oval. Okay. Your exterior oval. We're going to turn this to where we can see the back. And we're going to find our halfway point. Oh, you guys remember I needed to trim this. I don't like if it's not, if any interfacing is showing, I like to trim it off. And I just do like this. I'm literally turning the piece and keeping my rotary straight. And now I have a much better thing to work with here. So we're going to bend this in half, and I'm going to get the center marks of this on the long way side and the other side. This will help you with placement later. Just cut you a little slit in there. These aren't as necessary as these are. So we're going to bend this way. You can or cannot have to do that.
Could you try again?
Oh my gosh, you guys, I literally muted this watch and he still wants to talk to me. My Siri's an Australian man. Okay. So we've got this halfway here. So again, we're not gonna fold that whole thing. We're just gonna pinch it here and get our mark here to show the halfway. I like to do it like this where I can actually see what I'm doing. And then again here, center mark, just a tiny slit. I don't know if you can see how tiny of a slit that I did right here. So just to show you, that's the only slit we're doing, like that, just a little slit, right? So keep that right like that, and we're going to show you how I line this ruler up with that. So I'm using the line on my ruler. We're going to zoom in on that so you can see. I'm going to line this line up with the edge of my oval here, just to the side of this mark, and I'm going to line it up to the bottom here. And what's important is this line meeting up with here, because now you're going to measure down 2 inches for your hardware. So the female piece is going to get put on here, which is 2 inches down from this edge. We're going to take our washer and we're going to make our marks. We're going to make our slits, and this time I'm really going to make my slits so I can function properly. Okay. You don't want to make these slits too much. You want your hardware to be sturdy in there. I'm going to pull these prongs in a little bit. Again, I'm using my female piece now, and we're going to just feed this in through our slits. Push it through to your other side, and then we're going to mark. When you're marking your pieces, this is another thing that you can do when you're stuck on the phone and can't run your sewing machine. You can sit and mark a bunch of your Decaville scraps. That way you can just, and you can slit them too. This way they'll be ready for you when you go to use them. Just little tips and tricks that make the whole process go a lot faster. Because when you're doing one, why not do 20, right? So we're going to put that on there. We're going to put our washer on top of that, and then we're going to start pushing, and then I'm going to pick this up and push like this. It's just easier to do it with your thumbs than your fingers. And when you're doing a bunch of these in a row, believe me, you'll want to do it with your thumbs. We're going to also take another piece of tape, and I'm going to take my tape roll and I'm going to make a corner on it so when I go to use it again, it's always in that right corner. Everybody in our sweatshop knows they better make that bend in that tape. I better not have to look for it. I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to smooth it from this side because it's easier to smooth when you don't have all those prongs in your way. Okay? That is your exterior oval that is totally done now. Put it over there in your sewing pile. This is our interior oval, okay? And here again, a little sloppy on my interfacing. So I'm gonna take this and trim this. Now, some people, this wouldn't bother at all. You'd just ignore it, but I a little bit can't ignore it, so I like to trim it off. Inevitably, when things shift and stuff and you're sewing, just pick an oval and stick with it. Like either follow your, if the little pieces are sticking out, just pick the outside one and just stick with it. We're going to get the halfway point again on here because this is so cool, this technique here. Your whole wallet will get birthed, or I don't know why I keep saying that because I don't like that term, but when you turn your whole wallet right sides out, you will do it through this little slit where this slit we're getting ready to make in this. So we've got our halfway points, our halfway slits. We're going to take this 2 by 16 ruler, which exactly goes just perfectly across this whole ruler. Gonna line those slits up. Okay, and now you can literally just look down on here and see what is the center, because this is exactly the same size as your oval. So if you don't have a 2 by 16 and you're gonna make a ton of these wallets, or a 1 by 16, anyway, the 16 inches is nice because you could just look down here, see where the halfway mark is, and then you're going to go 3 inches from that center mark out. And so each line on this ruler is 1 inch, so I'm going to go 3 lines this way. I'm going to stop in the middle and then go 3 lines this way. And then check this out. We are literally going to make an opening by just running our rotary right down on that line. Now listen, if you get a little off, it's fine, but I want to go all the way to the ends of my marks, and I'm going to be able to turn my whole wallet through this slit. And you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, well, how are you going to hide that? Well, all of your card slots and your zipper pocket and everything ends up covering that up, right? So how you like that? This is finished now. You can put it in your go into sew pile. How about our zipper pockets? These are 8 by 7.5. So I'm measuring right here. This is my 7.5 inch side. I do not want that side. I want my 8 inch side, okay? This is my 8 inch side. Okay. So on my 8 inch side, I want to fold this and get my halfway point and make a little slit here. Okay, and I also go ahead and put a clip on my 8 inch side so I don't have to look again for that slit. Okay, now I'm gonna just check this again because I would have messed with it. 8 inch side, I'm gonna fold it in half, get my center, make a little slit, and that slit is ready too. This is the side where your zipper is going to be added to. So we're just going to put that over at our sewing pile, and that's done. Next, we will prepare our zipper. In your kits, you've got an 8 or a 9 inch zipper. I don't remember which. But we need to make this a 6.5 inch zipper. So what I like to do first is cut on the end that has the metal stopper. I literally line my zipper up. If we want to get a close-up shot of this, we will do the line right next to the silver part of this zipper, the stopper. Oops, magnetics, hold on. Got all these magnets sticking to everything. Put those back in there. Okay, so I'm going to line this up to the nearest line. Well, on my zippers, they're not quite long enough to be wasting, so I make sure I go right next to that silver part. And I'm going to go just straight across. If you're not comfortable enough to use the rotary like I am, just use a ruler, okay, if that makes you more comfortable. We're going to measure this 6.5 inches and cut it at 6.5 inches, okay? So I've got it on the halfway mark here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to pull this zipper down a little bit. I'm going to squeeze this side so my zipper teeth are kind of closed. And I'm going to go straight across here at the 6.5 inch mark, okay? Now we have our zipper chopped off the way we want. And I'm going to just make this, reassure myself that nothing's going to go wonky with this zipper, and I'm going to end up with the zipper pull coming off or anything. So I'm going to use my wide mouth clips, and now my zipper is totally prepared. Remember to save all this stuff because this could be a tab for something later. Not in this project, but a different project. Or in this project if you wanted to. I mean, it's totally up to you, but my point is don't throw anything away. Okay, so that's totally ready to go in our sewing pile. And how we doing? Shall we start? I don't even know what time it is or anything. Shall we start?
3:09. So we've still got almost an hour left.
Okay, so let's go and start on our zipper over there then. I like to do my zipper first, and I also make sure that I have my D-rings at my sewing machine when I start this process. So you got D-rings in your kit. We just need 2.
Before you move on, Bonnie said, please do that again.
What?
Is that, Bonnie, do you want her talking about the zippers? Because we can't cut it off again, but tell us what you'd
here
like
I have
again.
a zipper right here. I'll do it
Okay.
again.
All right.
Okay, so this is a zipper. I'm going to cut it close to, but not on, that metal zipper stop. So I'm going to take my rotary and just cut that off. Okay. And then I'm going to measure. I'm going to open my zipper. I'm going to measure 6.5 inches. So 6 3 are 9. So I'm going to cut this at the 23. I'm going to move my zipper pull out of the way. Oh, another helpful tip, you guys. Make sure that you are testing your zipper, that it opens and closes before you use that in a project. Ask me how I know that, but yeah, so just make sure your zipper is nice and operating nicely. 6.5 inches we're going to cut. So we're going to squeeze our teeth together like as if it were closed, and we're just going to take one swift cut across there, and now we have a 6.5 inch zipper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I thought I counted wrong. There we go. And you can prepare a lot of zippers ahead of time, obviously, but just make sure you're putting your wide mouth clips or something on there to make sure that nothing crazy happens with that. You're basically protecting your ends from getting messed up. So there is that. Did I answer the question?
I think so.
So I will go over to the sewing machine and we'll get started on assembling this stuff. So we're going to take 2 of these D-rings over there too, so I don't have to get up and get them. How about that? All right. Okay. Now, I'm just going to put these in the bed of my machine to where I can reach them later. So I'm going to grab my zipper and grab my binding, quote, binding piece. This is my zipper tab piece. So, let me get my machine going. I do not want to be on a 4.0 right now. I'm going to go back down to a 2.4. That way I can get this zipper nice and secured onto this zipper tab.
Take this one nice and slow because this is different.
Okay. All right, so all we have here is our zipper and our binding strip, if you will. I mean, these are going to end up being our tabs, but right now it's just like a little binding strip. So I'm going to use a leader and put that in the machine. And I am going to go across my zipper just really quickly, just make a few stitches. I hold my teeth together and just secure the end of that zipper back and forth, just so nothing, it just keeps it kind of nice and closed for when I'm going to stick it in that binding strip. Going to do the same to the opposing side. And cut that off. So I'll put this over here so you can see a close-up of what I actually did. All I did was secure those ends. So, because remember we actually cut off that zipper stop. So basically we're making zipper stops. I'll do like that so you can see. Right there and right there. So basically it just keeps it all so it doesn't get messed up. So now we're going to put our leader in there, and we're going to stick in one part of the zipper. It doesn't matter which one you start with. And we're going to 1/8, oh, that's a new one. 1/8 of an inch right here. We're going to go on our binding strip, and we're going to attach this binding strip to this zipper tape. So we're going to just start it a little bit off of the edge here, and then go on.
Does it matter which side?
It doesn't. It doesn't matter which one you put in there first. The end result's the same. So all we're doing is attaching this binding strip to this zipper, and we're going to go 1/8 inch. And as I'm getting to the teeth, I'm going to push a little bit and make sure those teeth are kind of closed while I go slowly over them. And I'm just going to continue on just till I clear that other side of that zipper tape. Now I'm going to cut this leader off so you can see better, and we're going to do a little flip-a-tois. We're going to take this and we're going to stick the other end of our zipper in here. Now see, the zipper, don't make sure it's not twisted, you know, going the wrong way and everything. We're going to make sure our zipper teeth are up, and we're going to just stick this end in here. We're going to make sure it goes to all the way to the end of that binding strip, and now it should look like that. We're going to hold the binding strip tight, hold our zipper, and we're going to just continue with that 1/8 inch down across there, securing that zipper tape into our binding strip. So now you're done with the zipper part, but we're going to continue this 1/8 inch sewing from this edge and close this. And these will end up being our D-ring tabs and our flap tab. Now, I'm going to pull this out and we'll get a close-up of it, and you can see how I'm going to finish preparing that zipper. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to cut it at the same, there we go, right here along the side of, as if that zipper were extending. So we're going to do it flush with the edge. Same way on this. Let me move my fingers out of the way right here. Snip that off. Now do you see it's starting to look like a little zipper? This side we're going to trim as if this was just an extension of that zipper tape right there. And the same with this side. Okay, now our zipper is totally prepared. We have this leftover piece, right? On most of your machines you have a ruler right here. We're going to take and cut 3 pieces at 1.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to cut that first one. I measure that first one, and then I put it like this, right on top of each other, and cut 3 of those pieces. And then I will actually throw away that little tiny piece that's left over. Okay, now you've got 3 1.5 inch pieces. So 2 of these get a D-ring, 1 of them does not. The one that does not is your flap tab piece. Okay, we're going to insert our D-ring into here and fold it up, and we're just going to put this in the machine and close these. We're just basting it together so that it becomes one piece. Sometimes I go back and forth on it. And we're going to do that to the 2 D-rings, and we're even going to shut the flap tab piece as well. So I'm going to put this in here. Oop, I need to line this up a little bit better. Yes?
I was just thinking that if they wanted to, since you made that cute little D-ring or flap tab, you know, as an accessory type of a thing.
Yes.
They could put a D-ring there, and they could hang like a little dangle.
Been there,
from
done
the
that.
front. Have you done that?
Yep.
See, that is so cute.
And I think one of the wallets that we'll do a show and tell with actually has that. Why? because I made a mistake and put 3 D-rings instead of leaving one empty, and so that's how that became that.
But that's
When
cute.
Yeah, I mean, it's cute. And then you can hook your keys to it or whatever you want. When I first showed Valerie my little invention, she said, "Oh, is that to put an ink pen in?" And I said, "Well, actually, if you did it a little bit bigger, you could slide an ink pen in there, sure." You know, so that's another idea for you. If you're someone who likes to use an ink pen a lot, you could totally make your tab a little bit longer and fit an ink pen right through there.
Yeah.
So I've got my 2 D-ring done, and now I'm just going to close the third piece here. Now, some of the stitching will show. I'll just show you on the wallet in a minute. Some of it will show, but not that much. So I like to go back and forth on this piece a little bit and just make sure the stitches look good, because if you really were inspecting the wallet, you could see the stitching on that piece. On the other pieces, you will not. Oh, what am I talking about? I meant on one of your D-ring pieces, the stitching needs to look good, because that's where your, it's going to be on the fold where you're attaching your crossbody strap. And so you'll see part of that. So anyway, just, I'm going to cut these apart and trim off the little hairs right now, but these are going to get sewn into your project. So just set these aside for now, and we'll get back to them. But for now, we're going to take our zipper and fold it in half and get our halfway point on our zipper and make a little snip, just like we did with everything else we've been making slits in. We're getting our halfway point of our zipper so we can line it up with our zipper pocket. There we go. So take your zipper pocket. Do we have any questions before I move on to the zipper pocket?
No, we had a comment from Linda, of course.
Oh.
She said you might want to mention that the zippers are plastic nylon teeth and
Oh,
can be cut and
yes.
sewn
Thank
through
you
easily,
very much.
but not like the metal teeth zippers.
Yes, thank you very much. These are nylon number 3 zippers. So your number 3 zipper has a smaller width of the teeth. And so when you're doing a smaller project like this, you don't want a big wonky zipper. Now listen, it will work with a number 5. Ask me how I know. But it depends on how much of a zipper you want to see. So a lot of people prefer the skinnier zipper teeth to show.
And I was also told to tell you that Cow is watching.
Oh my gosh, you guys, that's our other sister Cal, who is a sewer. She's been
Is
a
it
sewer.
C-O-W?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sitting here laughing. That autocorrect is really screwing
No,
up here.
that's Cal. In fact, her name on there is Yamut,
Okay.
which that's, you know, our mom was French and she always called her Yamut.
Yeah,
She's blaming it
she's
on
posted several
autocorrect.
times.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, so
she's
she's
just
watching.
learning Facebook and stuff, you guys.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's our older sister Cal, and she's gonna be making these as soon as I get back.
And Sherry says to take a drink.
You know what? Thank you, because I do need to.
Heather also said the gross grain ribbon works really well to put the D-rings on.
Oh,
That's a great idea.
great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to attach our zipper to our zipper pocket. And remember, we had this wide mouth clip indicating where our slits were, so we didn't have to go looking for them. So I'm going to take this part here. Now, here's where, if you're left-handed or if you just have a preference on how you want your zipper to open and close, this is where you would pay attention. So most right-handers like it to go from left to right to open. So that's the way I'm orienting this one. So I'm going to turn this with my teeth face down, okay? And I'm going to match up my little slit of my zipper tape to my slit on my zipper pocket piece. And I will put a wide mouth clip there and just straighten this zipper along the edge here. Now remember, when you get in an area where your zipper pull is underneath there, it does make your zipper tape a little wonky. So be mindful of that when you're sewing, to make sure you push your zipper tape along the edge. So this is what it should look like. Nice. And so right now we are going to go, I'm still on a 2.4 stitch length. We're going to go and just base this zipper down to this piece. So right now it's not, we're just making it one piece. So we're just going to go 1/8 of an inch approximately and just get it put down. Now I don't know if you can tell that my thing is starting to get a little wonky, so I'm going to be careful and make sure that it's straight when I'm sewing it down. When you get clear of your zipper pull, you can get it out of your way by sliding it up, and then the rest of the way your zipper is going to lay nice and flat. So we're going to just zoom through here, and I always sew right to the end and then cut it off. Those stitches will never be seen, but now you have one piece. Okay, this is totally attached and you have one piece. Now we need to add our zipper interior piece, which we are going to fold this in half and get the halfway mark as well. So we're going to take our zipper interior piece, we're going to fold it, and we're going to get our halfway point and make a little slit in there. There we go. And this will tell us to line it up with those slits that we made previously with that zipper and that zipper line pocket. So we're going to line up those slits together and put our wide mouth clips on here to hold it so we can look at it. I'm going to unzip my zipper a little bit so I can start this off. And now I'm going to put this in my machine and go 1/4 inch from the edge, and this is actually getting it all to be one piece. Now with this particular foot, I can keep going with this zipper here, but I will show you guys. I'll get to that, and since there's enough room up here, I will go ahead and unzip it, because that's probably, if you guys don't have the HP foot, HP 2 foot like I'm using, it probably will be in your way. So just slide your zipper out of your way as needed. All right, so we've got that attached. Now, you have this. This is what this should look like at this point, okay? You've got your zipper sandwiched in between your zipper exterior and your zipper interior. So at this point, we're going to hold on to our zipper and we're going to just match this up. We're going to fold this part down like that. And I'm going to put a wide mouth clip right here to hold that while I straighten. And I'm going to come here to the other end, pull on my zipper a little bit, push this over, and just smooth this down, because we're getting ready to top stitch that. Okay, we're going to make it pretty. I'm just going to keep pressing this down good, and I'm going to flip it over and just make sure this is all lining up nice, and it is. And you can put a wide mouth clip on here and hold it for you nice. Let's see. I just messed it up a little bit. It's really not that fiddly. Now, our whole purpose here is to top stitch right here by this zipper. However, I like to come down this side, just where that zipper lining piece is underneath, and I'll start right here and just kind of tack it down, just, you know, basically 1/8 of an inch on that side, and get that tacked down, and then I'll be in great position to come and top stitch across that zipper the front of that zipper. So I'm just going to run this along the side here real quick, and then I'm going to stop here, and oh, you know what? I'm going to do a 4-point stitch length across here for the top stitching to look pretty.
And you're getting a ton of hearts.
Yay!
Because you're an awesome teacher.
Oh, thank you so much, you guys. So we're going to do 1/8 of an inch and go down through here. And like I said, if your zipper gets in the way of your foot, move it out of your way, get past it, and then raise your foot up and just keep that zipper out of your way so it doesn't make your stitches wonky when it doesn't fit. We're just going to come down here to the end. Now that's the end of the top stitching that will be shown, and I'm just going to run this along the side here and get that side piece still tacked down a little bit and just cut it off. And I'm going to pull this out and you can get a close-up of what this actually looks like at this point.
And Mary wants to know, or just at least wants you to talk about how you're doing this without a zipper foot.
How am I doing it without a zipper foot? It's because I've got a skinny walking foot on here, and I didn't need to change to a zipper foot. If you have a skinnier foot, you can do it. If you have like a skinny 1/4 inch foot or something, you can do it. If not, just change to your zipper foot, and you obviously, if you've never done a zipper, you'll have to know how to set your machine up to move your needle to where it's going to be sewing without, you know, going too far over and stuff and breaking your needle off. So you'll have to know the settings of your own machine to use a zipper foot if needed.
Linda Olson said she's learning lots of stuff, which is a big compliment to you because
Oh
she's
my
done so
gosh.
many.
Yes.
And then I'm told to tell you Dar is here.
Oh my gosh, you guys, she's a bag maker extraordinaire. So maybe soon I can learn some more tips and tricks from her because she is an amazing bag maker. And I certainly will pass on anything I learn to you guys. So this is what your zipper pocket looks like right now. This is your interior piece. Look, are you wondering about this? Why this isn't tacked down at all? Well, we're gonna get to that. But for now, let's turn this around where I can look at it. And I'm gonna add my other 8.5 or 8 by 7.5 piece and my other pocket piece, and I'm gonna put it right sides together, right on top of that zipper. So right now I'm looking at this zipper where the tab and the teeth and everything are facing up. I'm gonna put this face down with my slits matching right here in the center. I'm gonna put my wide mouth clips here.
You're getting tons of hearts, and Janet just said she's so enjoying this class.
And wasn't she one of the ones that were
Lots
so
of questions.
afraid?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope the ones that were worried that they weren't going to be able to do this and that it was too hard and everything, I really hope that I simplified this enough for it to be quick and easy for you.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I
I
have
think they're
lined
getting
up this other zipper piece on top of that zipper, and I like to flip it over so I can sew where I'm seeing my zipper. So right now, again, I'm just going to baste it on there with an 1/8 inch stitch length. I mean, an 1/8 inch seam allowance. Just, in other words, right here on the edge. Just getting that zipper down to be a part of this. We'll move my zipper out of the way so everything will lay straighter. I'm going to come down through here and just come straight off. Now, I want to just point out something. Well, here's where you are right now. I just basted that on there. I am going to, since I'm going to be sewing this zipper interior to here, I'm going to take it down to 2.4 again, just to sew this piece on. I don't want such a large stitch length when I'm trying to sew a piece to another piece. there again, I don't think I made my mark on both of those pieces, so I'm going to make my center mark. Okay, I'm going to face this right sides together, right side on top of this, and match my slits up. Now, how do you know you're putting it in the right place? Because at this point, this interior zipper pocket piece should be kind of touching the other one. So it's not, you're not hooking it to this side. You're hooking it to where the zipper lining pieces look like they're gonna go together, okay? So just do it like that and move it up to where your slit matches that center slit again. And do you see why we didn't make our marks with a pin or something? Because as the layers get on top of things, you wouldn't see your markings anymore. So ask me how I know that one. So I've already made all the mistakes for y'all. Now here's what this is going to look like, and here's the back side. And now I'm going to just put this in here and sew a 1/4 inch from the edge and get this all sewn on here. I'm coming up on my zipper head. I'm going to reach in here between these two pieces and grab my zipper pull and get it out of my way. And now I can just travel along down through here again. Oh, sorry, I'm going too fast. Sorry. And then I'll be done with that. So this is what this should look like now. We're going to flip this over. We can hold this right like this and get this flipped over right. I'm going to pinch it here. Get this looking nice because this is where our top stitch is going to be. I'm going to pull this over here, get this folded over nice. Put me a wide mouth clip here. If y'all don't have the wide mouth clips, obviously they come in really handy. I'm going to zip my zipper closed right here so I can get this smoothed out nice. I kind of finger press it a little bit. And there again, we're going to top stitch that area near the zipper, but at the same time, I'm going to just make sure these flaps are secured down, these zipper interior pocket pieces. So I'm just going to run along here, and I'm going to put my stitch length again on 4.0 because I'm going to make it match the other side that I did. Oh, went too fast. And here we go. We're going to just come down through here. Get the zipper out of my way here. Oops. And then I'm going to come down this other side and just secure this side piece a little bit. This doesn't really matter too much, but I just like it not to be flopping around. Okay, so here's what your piece should look like now. Let me just show you like that. There's the front part. So now we're going to put these right sides together. I like to start up here and I kind of squeeze this zipper tab area and make this match up right here. I'm going to trim off, I got some really raveling fabric here. I'm going to just put a wide mouth clip here. I'm just going to make sure this is all nice and square. And because you cut it with templates, it's going to be pretty daggone lined up for you already. You know, sometimes things shift, but it really is nice and square for you most of the time. So I'm just going to clip that here too. Now, I will say that this part here, you will see just a little bit of this stitching right here. So just be mindful of that. And when I snip things, I don't like to snip it where it's on the edge of here. I like to snip things when it's down in a little bit. So you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Right now I'm going to put a leader in, and I am going to sew this together at 2.4 because I'm sewing two pieces together, so it's not like a top stitch. I want this to be secured nice. I don't want a super long stitch length, because when you're sewing two things together, that's not cute. So I'm going to run right off my leader at 1/4 inch, and I'm going to come onto my piece and I'm going to back it up, and then I'm going to keep going 1/4 inch all the way down through here. And then across the bottom. Oh, sorry. I end up, you guys know I'm a speed demon when I sew. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this leader off because it's bugging me. I've got a lot of raveling going on, but it'll be fine. Let me go one more stitch. I don't know if you guys noticed, every time I stop, the foot raises up. That is an amazing feature on this machine, where you can program this machine every time you stop that the foot will lift up for you. It's amazing for applique purposes. That way you always have your hands free to turn things without having to mess with your needle up, needle down button.
Diane wants to know if you opened up your zipper.
No, I did not. Thank you very much for stopping me now.
But tell them what to do when you don't.
Oh, you know what? You know what? I do have my zipper open. You know, I'm so bad about keeping it closed that I just assumed that it was closed, but it is open. But okay, let's show you what happens when you, because I have done this more times than not, where my zipper was totally closed, because when I'm lining everything up, it's easier to do it with the zipper closed, and then I go to sew it and I forget to open it. So let's act like I forgot to. I was actually going to do it right for once. Unbelievable. Okay, so I've got it closed, and it really should be open at this point so you could turn it out, but I'm going to show you how to remedy that when you've made that mistake. And if you're anything like me, you will do it over and over. It's like I never learned my lesson. And because I teach Shal, she does the same thing. Okay, I'm going to come down on here, and I'm going to do a couple back stitching, and I'm going to make sure that I land in my fabric and not outside of the fabric. That way when it gets cut off, the little scragglies aren't on here. It's on the fabric part. So going to just trim away. Y'all see these little threads that are getting on my nerves here? Okay. So right now we're going to trim this whole thing down a little bit. Now I want to reiterate that you want to be very careful not to snip your stitches. So, ooh, these are nice scissors. Look at this. Lisa gave me some shiny, glittery scissors that matches my nails. Wasn't that nice of her? We're trimming this off, just debulking it a little bit. And but we're just being very careful not to get close to our stitches. That is not fun, so just try to stay away from the stitches so you don't have to go back and fix stuff. Gonna get this mess off of here so y'all can see. All right, so I've trimmed this down, and now it's time to flip it, and uh-oh, I have my zipper closed. So the good thing about doing these tabs is that you actually have a little space in here that you can fit a pair of hemostats and put it in here and grab the zipper pull. Now you can do this with tweezers if you have tweezers long enough or whatever. Grab that zipper pull and start pulling. If you can grab it right. There, now I'm starting to open, and then of course once you get it a little bit more open, you can reach your fingers in there and open it better. But that's the way to get your zipper started. And then you can open it all the way for you to turn this whole thing. So now do a big major flip it while, oh, but let me show you first. See, are you worried that these are just flapping in the wind? They're not secured down, and you're like, uh-oh, how's my stuff gonna stay in that pocket? Well, I'm gonna show you here in a minute, in a little bit. So we're gonna turn this whole thing out. We're going to push out our corners, and push out where these tabs are, make them look nice. Just run your finger in there, get your corners poked out with your fingers good, and then you can, I like to use my mommy stick, or this is my knit needle I call my mommy stick. And I'm gonna stick it in here and just poke out my corners good, trying not to poke through my fabric. I like to smooth the sides, down the side seams as well as the corners. Now, I'm going to show you that this edge here, you're going to, really you should get up and go iron this. So I think we're going to, this way I can show you guys the right way. I get really lazy and I try not to get up after I sit down to sew. So sometimes I just go ahead and top stitch that without ironing it, but we're gonna go to the iron. And I should have started the iron, but I didn't. But we're gonna go to the iron, and we're gonna get this nice and flat.
And it's 3:45, so we've got 15 minutes till the end of the class, and you've got a ton of hearts for that technique and just being a great teacher in general.
Oh, nice. And get your, bring your mommy stick over to the iron with you and just get it smoothed out good, because this is going to be top stitch and it will be seen, because this is the part of your wallet that became the divider. So someone was asking earlier about that divider. See that? It goes in your wallet this way, and that just became your divider, right? So you will want to have this looking nice, and we'll top stitch that at 4.0 stitch length. And what is not necessary again is the side of these. It doesn't really need to be stitched. However, I do stitch it because most of the time I'm adding my label. So I'm going to show you guys where I have found that to put my label that works for me. So I'm just pressing this to where it's nice and flat. And we're going to go back to the machine and we're going to top stitch this. But in turn, I'm going to start on the side, top stitch it nice, and come up the side and show you where I would have put my label had I brought labels with me. I did not. So we're going to go back to the sewing machine and top stitch this. And here we are. So here's where you want to know if is your zipper oriented the way that you want it to be oriented. I want mine to go left to right. You know, when it's closed, I want the zipper pull to be on the left. So this area right here is where I would add my label if I had one. Now this foot is kind of bulkier in the back. So when you put this in here, it doesn't want to go all the way to the edge. And that is perfect because we're going to start our stitches right in through here. I'm going to pull my thread up. Now these stitches right here will not be seen really because they are going to get folded into the side of the wallet. So I'm going to needle down, needle up anyway because I don't want a rat's nest anywhere on here, even though it won't be seen most likely. I'm going to pull my threads, put my needle back down in my fabric. I've got my two threads here, and I'm just going to 1/8 inch sew this all the way down. Oop, I got things falling off my machine here. I am going to make sure I'm at a 4.0 stitch length when I'm doing this part of that. So since we're talking about it, I'll go ahead and switch it up to the 4.0 and come on down and do a nice stitch. I got one more stitch to go. You see that, how it raises up and I'm able to flip-flop and stuff without having to reach back behind your machine. That's a really good feature of the Janelle machines, and probably other machines too that I don't know about. So we're doing a top stitch here. My chair keeps moving. Let me see. Yeah, we're about right here. Now I'm going to come up on here, and like I said, if I had a label, I'd be sewing my label in to the side here. But I'm going to stop this approximately where I started. So I'm just going to kind of look, and this is where I'm going to stop it. Not that it's going to be seen, but I'm going to cut that off. These threads over here, I will bury them. Hopefully you guys know about the self-threading needles. This is something that I love because I don't like to have to try to thread a needle. So I'm going to start a knot. I'm going to add my self-threading needle in here and ride that knot all the way to the fabric. Pull it out. Now the self-threader, I'm going to pop it right into here and just run this in between my fabric so I can cut this off and not worry about it coming undone. Now, do we have any questions?
Just lots of thanks, and we've got a couple people that won't be able to join us tomorrow, but of course they'll watch the replays. Though lots of people that didn't think they wanted the templates, but after watching, now they know they need them.
Yes, you guys. I'm telling you, I wouldn't lead you astray. Y'all know I'm all about simplicity and purpose and saving money and saving time, and I can't wait to see all the things you create. But here is our zipper pocket. We have one more step to mark this pocket, but if we want to stop right now and take the time to answer some questions, we will. And this is a good stopping point.
Yeah, this is a really good stopping point, and we could work on some more things at our next session.
Yes.
Are there any questions before we end for the day?
And for those of you that's worried that I'm not drinking a lot, I'm drinking right now.
Don't y'all feel better about it now than you did earlier this morning?
Give some hearts if you thought this was totally easier than what you thought it was going to be. When you look at that wallet, it's very, you think it's intimidating, you know, and you think, I looked at it and like, oh my God, I wonder how she did this, blah, blah, blah. And then now I'm totally making them, and I'm teaching you guys to make it. So it's pretty fun. I think they're incredible. I think it was amazing for Valerie to do this free class in time for you to make Christmas gifts. I promise that when you start making these, your time will decrease. It just happens. And plus, when you're cutting, you're going to be cutting a lot at the same time. And so that in turn saves time as well. So
Janet asked if you need to complete the lining pocket for your zipper.
I do not. I'm going to be showing you that you don't have to worry. Now, of course, right now, when I stick my hand in here, my whole hand goes. But that gets remedied, so there's no use in worrying about that now. I will show you that you don't have to worry about it. It will, I promise, become a pocket and a divider all at the same time.
Lots of great comments, lots of great hearts. You'll have to go back and read the comments, G.
Oh, I will.
Yep.
I'll go back and look at the stuff tonight. But I'm so glad that you guys joined us today. And I'm glad that this will be kept for you to view over and over and over. And please share it with all your friends. If you had friends that were on the fence about wanting to learn it or not learn it, please share with them and let them get introduced to Martelli's and how, you know, all things are possible.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not seeing a lot of shares, so you guys hit that share. That's going to allow us to continue to do these free classes. It makes such a difference for Martelli to be able to offer this for free, so you can get the instruction, and so share.
And the algorithms on Facebook will be enhanced, or I don't know if that's the proper term. It'll help Martelli's out if you do share and comment and stuff. It helps the algorithms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I just want to thank Linda. I thank you for doing those sheets. I think a lot of people will be printing those out, and it'll be so helpful to them in the future. And then they won't be questioning so much of what goes where, and it's just in one paper, one concise sheet of paper for them to glance at. And like I said, I like to mark my templates with what needs to be done. You could also mark your templates with how many fabric pieces you need. I just found it more helpful for the interfacing, but you could totally do it for your fabrics as well. You could write on there, make yourself 2 ovals or whatever. So hopefully we covered all your questions today, and if not, if you don't catch it on the replay, you can always text or email twins@martellinotions.com with any of your questions, or that's for G and Sherry, and Linda and Lisa is learn@martellinotions.com. So kind of keep that in your phone contacts or whatever. twins@martellinotions.com for the Woomate Creations. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can eventually have this on there, as well as past projects that we've done in the retreats and so forth. So, and then learn@martellinotions.com for Lisa and Linda. And we're going to say goodbye for the day, and we will see you at what time tomorrow?
9:30 a.m. Central Time.
9:30 Central, so 7:30 for you West Coasters. Sorry.
It's worth it.
But please come join me anyway. And all right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.